Hello, beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. As I said some time ago, I wanted to start doing more than just Overwatch. More because, one, I do play other games, believe it or not, even though I now coach a pretty high tier team and I play the game and stream on YouTube and all that. I'm a private coaching and stuff like that. I wanted to focus also more on games that I just in general enjoy. And today we're talking a little bit about Fortnite and if it is becoming a little bit too much for casual players and whatnot. Now, as always, guys, we don't have to agree. I will give you guys my opinion. Then I would like to hear your down in the comment section below, and at least we can have a conversation about this and learn something from each other's point of view. Now, this is something that have been talked a little bit about by Epic Games himself, and in general also by just in the community about the casual experience for Fortnite. Stuff like, capping building and they wanted to do that. The problem with the bullet spread mechanics in the game and so on. And that's the stuff that I want to talk about. Now, I personally am a guy that loves competitive games. I love high skill games where there is, while there could be an easier entry for new players, if you think about, something like CSGO, everyone can pretty even say, oh, that's an op, that's an AK, you move, you get less accuracy, you stand still, you have better accuracy, right? It's very, to a certain extent simple, but then there's so much underlying mechanics. Same with Overwatch, even though with Overwatch you need to learn heroes and so on. It's more about, you get the entry, everyone can kind of understand, okay, this guy has a revolver, he can roll, he has a stun. Okay, cool, now I just need to click on people to kind of get the kill. So while there's an easy entry bar, the skill ceiling, the entire, possibility of the difference between someone that is bad at the game and someone that's good at the game is incredible. Same with Rainbow Six Siege and other games. Now, when it comes to Fortnite, that skill ceiling is there, of course, with the standard FPS stuff, which is, accuracy has something to say. But it's also a little bit not. It's a little bit RNG. One of the big thing that is the whole stardom in between, a really good player and a bad player is the mechanics of building. And really understanding building mechanics and certain gadgets and items, of course, but especially the building mechanics is one of the things that makes a difference because you used your buildings in combat scenarios to get advantages, such as being able to peek them when they can't peek you, coming from above, in general being able to quickly build up a set of walls, then removing one of the bricks so you can make a window that you can quickly shoot through, and dodging away from their damage output. And all of this is all about outplaying someone with building, and it takes a lot of skill and a lot of time and a lot of effort just to get it down into your mechanics about how to place the different stuff and how to swap and what you want and the plan and accurately putting stuff where you actually want to put it. And all of that makes a very, cool and experience. And something that at least when I play Fortnite, which I do actually fairly a lot, it's more of a casual, relaxed game for me, where I can watch Netflix or listen to a podcast or something like that while I play it. For me, I find that incredibly intriguing. And I think that's what I and a lot of other players really like about Fortnite. That entire building mechanic side to it. Now, Epic has been talking a little bit about limiting the amount of building resources. And depending, of course, of how much they're gonna limit it with, this, for me, is a bad issue. Because in the end, it becomes a build-off. It does. For a lot of players, it does. Especially if the two players have equal skills, or the last two alive are, really good. It becomes, who has very good building mechanics, and of course a little bit of items, but especially who can build fast, who can build better. And by limiting something like that, I think that is gonna ruin the skill tier or the skill ceiling of Fortnite. Of course, you can argue the other way around as well, saying, well, if you have less building material, then you have to be way more meticulously about where you're putting different stuff, and so on. Of course, it depends on how much the nerf potentially would actually be at. That's the very first thing that I think is scary that they are even considering, removing the building, because either you go around and you're farming the entire game, which at that point you will most likely have a lot of, low graded items, or you will get your materials by earning kills. So for me, I believe that when I have my items, it's mostly just me actually having a positive KD, like, well, it's not KD, but having a pretty good, 2, 3, 4 kills, 5 kills, 6 kills right towards the end of the game, of course I'm gonna have capped items because I've been taking from my other kills. And these, indeed, towards the end is of course also had killed other players, so I'm beating someone that has beat other players. To a certain extent then kind of giving me the justification that I earned these items by skill, not by me standing and farming every single tree, wall, and, well, what can I say, metal box in the entire game. Now then we come over to weapon spread, and weapon spread in this game is horrible. It is a RNG fest. That is what it is for a lot of weapons, which does that, well, stuff like sniper rifles, stuff like rocket launchers, and stuff like shotguns are very, very used. A shotgun, to a certain extent at close range, of course, it deals a lot of damage. It's very easy to get a one-shot, and it's to a certain extent precise. Even though there are some luck and RG in that as well, it is very precise compared to some others. Meanwhile, with your assault rifle, you can get very quick amounts of spread, which does... It's not even a direct spread pattern. It's not that there's recoil or anything that you can compensate on. On certain ranges, it's just... I might hit where I'm trying to aim at, I might also just miss. The bullets can fly anywhere from top left corner to bottom right corner of my bullets, and that makes it, at least for me, very frustrating to play. From time to time, that is of course something you can compensate with tap firing, so there are, it's not like it's no skill. There are definitely a difference in between someone that knows how to aim in Fortnite and someone that is absolutely garbage at it, but I would like to see at least a specific spread pattern coming out of each individual guns to raise that skill ceiling just a tiny little bit. Without actually, I think that wouldn't do much with the casual crowd. In a game like, for example, Rainbow Six Siege. In Rainbow Six Siege we have specific spread patterns, but that does not mean that a casual player or a new player to the game would be intimidated by having to memorize these. In CSGO it's very different. If you want to get good at CSGO, you have to, for example, learn the specific spray pattern of an AK, at least to until you get a certain level. Of course you can do like me and just try to, the only way that you aim the AK is that you try to clink them once in the head, and if you miss that then you're kind of screwed. But in Fortnite, if they make it so it's not like CSGO and the spread patterns makes, no offense, but barely any sense that how you move it like natural sense, I think that it can still work fine by the way that it has a specific spread pattern. We fire it like this, or maybe even implementing, instead of a spread pattern, maybe a recoil system, so you need to be able to compensate with your mouse from where it's dragging to rather aim the bullets in that genre by just keeping the crosshair on the guy. It will fly where you're aiming, but you have to compensate with the drag. I also believe, of course, I like the fact that there are, and I've heard some people wanting them to swap their projectile snipers over to hit scan snipers, meaning instead of there being travel time on the bullet, it's an immediate hit. Something that I fairly like the fact about snipers, that it requires so much skill, because it's not just about lining up the shot, it's about also, calculating the distance, just like it was in games like Battlefield 4, where you kind of have to know the sniper rifle, and if you have a lot of experience with the bullet drop and the speed of the bullet, the velocity of the bullet, you will outsnipe me any day. Even though, I'm used to sniping on Widowmaker, someone like you can outsnipe me with ease because you have the experience of the game, you have played the game, and you practice with that sniper rifle. So even though I come from a video game where my accuracy has been good with sniper rifles before, that doesn't change the fact that you just are that much better at the game than me and can therefore beat me on long range duel with sniper rifle, which is a crucial part of this meta game. Now I would love to hear your opinions as always down in those comments down below. What do you think? Do you think that some of these changes would be good? Do you think they're bad? Do you want specific recoil patterns or spread patterns for your guns, or do you like Fortnite just as it is and you don't want them to change any of the background mechanics at all? I would like to hear those so we can keep that discussion rolling down in the comments. As always guys, I hope that you guys have a lovely gaming experience. My name has been Jonal. You guys stay awesome and keep the enemy in your crosshair.